And we're back. Welcome to my predictions for day 2 of match day 2 in the Champions League. If you want to see my predictions for all of today's matches in the Champions League, you can check out the video at the top of your screen that we posted this time yesterday morning. This video is going to be covering all of tomorrow's Champions League matches. And thank you for all of you that have already voted on the poll up on the community page, deciding how we're going to run this series going forward. Obviously, it's too short notice to fix it for this week, but going forward, for match day 3 and onwards, we will do 3 30-minute videos, one for each of the 3 competitions on a Monday, a Tuesday and a Wednesday. What that means for this week is tomorrow morning I will do a 30-minute video for all of the Europa Conference League matches, as there are Conference League matches taking place tomorrow. And then on Thursday morning we will then cover all of the 18 matches from the Europa League. So hopefully that's all right for you guys. And like I say, going forward you will then have all of the predictions for the Champions League, Europa League and Europa Conference League at least one day in advance. So hopefully we'll have that all ready for you going forward. And don't forget, of course, to drop a like on this video if you do enjoy this series, and subscribe to the channel if you're new around here as well. We're really bolstering up the numbers on the subscribers at the moment, so thank you so much as always for all of your support. And without any further ado, let's jump ahead to the prediction screen for day 2 of match day 2. Obviously, still no update to the results and scores for this season because today's games haven't taken place yet, so they will remain at 13 out of 18 and 3 UCL scores so far. And without any further ado, let's get cracking with the knacking. It is Girona against Feyenoord in the first of the 2 early games this Wednesday evening. And, well, to be honest, both of these sides didn't have the best of starts. Girona and Feyenoord both losing their opening games. Girona losing 1-0 to PSG. Feyenoord losing 4-0 to Bayer Leverkusen. Now, it's a really interesting one to say about this because Girona are without a win in 5 and have lost their last 2 home games. Feyenoord are only 6th in the Eredivisie, but they have had 4 draws as opposed to having defeats, which is why they're in 6th. The big problem for Feyenoord, though, is their star striker, Santiago Jimenez, is now out until possibly Christmas. He's definitely going to be missing for this game. So there's really not a lot to split between these 2 sides. So I'm going to err on the side of caution. I'm going to go for the absolute classic. When you're really unsure, go 2-1 to the home team. I still think Girona on paper are going to be the slightly better team. I think they've got a much more well-balanced squad. But like I say, they're not playing very well without a win in 5 and have lost their last 2 at home. So watch this space. Feyenoord are going to be looking for a response after that embarrassing defeat to Leverkusen. We will see what happens. The other early kickoff sees Shakhtar taking on Atalanta. And, well, the form guide going into this is rather hilarious. So both of these sides drew 0-0 in their match day 1 games. Shakhtar drew 0-0 with Bologna. Atalanta drew 0-0 with Arsenal. Here's where it gets interesting. Atalanta also drew at the weekend coming into this game. Guess who they drew with? That's right, Bologna. So both of these sides drew their opening matches. Both of them in the last 2 weeks have drawn with Bologna. Everything screams this game's going to end in a draw. I'm going for 1-0 Atalanta. I still think they're the better team on paper. Shakhtar more than proved themselves last time out against Bologna, but Atalanta, in theory and on paper, for me anyway, are a stronger side than Bologna, even though they are on literally the same amount of points in the Serie A so far this season and drew at the weekend. I just think they've got that little bit extra attacking edge. It really does surprise me when Atalanta don't score. So I'm still going to go for them. I think it's going to be a really tight one, but I'm going for 1-0 Atalanta. But best of luck to Shakhtar. I think they've definitely got a chance of getting something in this one. Again, we shall see. That then brings us to the 8 o'clock kickoffs. And what a first game we've got once again. It is Aston Villa taking on Bayern Munich. Now, there is no secret around Bayern Munich being at the top of the Champions League table so far this season after a massive 9-goal victory over Dinamo Zagreb. 9 goals scored, shall I say. It was a 7-goal margin. It was 9-2. And Aston Villa managed to get their first clean sheet of the season when they beat Young Boys 3-0. So it does make you feel like we're in for a bit of a high-scoring match here. However, massive news ahead of this game. Harry Kane has sustained an ankle injury at the weekend, which would see him miss up to a month's action. So, if If he does manage to play tomorrow night, fair play to him. But from what I'm understanding, he's going to miss this game. He's going to miss the game at the weekend for Bayern, and he's going to miss the international break with England. So no Harry Kane for Bayern Munich, which means most likely Thomas Muller is going to be up front, which, as good and as experienced as he is not as lethal in front as goal as Harry Kane. So it should balance things out a little bit. Aston Villa, of course, are a very good side. Unai Emery is prolific in this competition. Can they produce a massive, massive win or even get a result against Bayern Munich at home tomorrow night? I don't think so. I'm going to go for 3-1 to Bayern. My expectation is still that Bayern Munich should win this game, but I think this is going to be a really, really entertaining one. I think if Villa can play to their absolute potential, they can absolutely get a result here. My only concern is they just drew 2-2 with Ipswich, and with the greatest of respect to Ipswich, it's a bit of a step up to Bayern Munich. So we shall see, but I still think Bayern Munich should definitely be winning this one, and I'm going for 3-1. Next one could be a little bit tighter. We have got Benfica taking on Atletico Madrid. Both of these sides winning their opening matches by 2-1. Benfica beating Zvezda Zvezda, Atletico beating Leipzig. At the weekend, Atletico were able to draw in the Madrid derby against Real. However, it was thanks to a 95th minute equaliser from Angel Correa. So they didn't play particularly great. The good news for them going forward is that Antoine Griezmann has just announced his retirement from international football, so he's going to be much more readily available for them. And again, the funny thing is about this is I'm going to go for 2-1. Right? I'm going to go 2-1 to Atletico Madrid. I still think Atletico Madrid should be winning this game. But wherever it's possible, especially in these European games, I always like to check the head-to-head record just in case these sides have played before. And these two sides are meeting for the first time since 2015. And even before I checked the head-to-head record, I'd done 2-1 to Atletico Madrid. And the reason why that is funny is because in 2015, on both occasions, the away side won 2-1. So I'm going for history repeating itself once again. Still think, like I say, it's going to be a tight one. I'm only going for 2-1, which to me says Benfica can absolutely get something here. But I still think it's going to be the Madrid side that come out on top. Next up, we have the side sitting at the bottom of the Champions League table. The victims of Bayern Munich last time out. It's Dinamo Zagreb off the back of that 9-2 defeat, taking on Monaco off the back of that incredible 2-1 victory over Barcelona. And they remain unbeaten in the Ligue 1 so far this season as well. They are only second to PSG on goal difference. 5 wins and 1 draw for them in Ligue 1 this season. And they beat Barcelona last time out. The worrying thing for Dinamo Zagreb is off the back of that 9-2 defeat to Bayern, they then lost 4-1 in the league as well. So they're conceding goals for fun. They're not winning matches. To be fair, they did win at the weekend. But it's not looking great for them at the moment. Monaco are absolutely flying. I don't think it's going to be as extravagant as it was from Bayern, but I'm going to go for a 4-2 victory for Monaco. What I would say is in all of their defeats this season, they are still scoring goals, Dinamo Zagreb, and in all of Monaco's wins this season, they are still conceding. So I can see it being high scoring, but if Dinamo's defence keeps up the way it's going to be a really long night for them once again. But I'm going for 4-2 to Monaco. Keeping it a little bit French, we have now got Lille taking on Real Madrid. Now, Lille, of course, lost 2-0 in their opener to Sporting Lisbon and had Angel Gomez sent off, which means he is going to be suspended for this one. As we spoke about yesterday, Real Madrid were very, very poor in their Matchday 1 game against Stuttgart, winning 3-1 in the end, but ultimately they were saved by Courtois, both metaphorically and quite literally, with the amount of saves that Courtois made, making himself the man of the match in that one. However, once again, as with last season in this Champions League, Thibaut Courtois is now injured. So it looks like it's going to have to be Lunin that steps in and go. I almost said Trubin, got the wrong Ukrainian goalkeeper, but it is Lunin that's going to have to step in for Real Madrid once again. On the flip side, though, Lille also have injuries. The majority of their first-choice backline is injured, and as we've already spoken about, Angel Gomez is also going to be suspended in midfield. So could end up being a relatively open game. I think both sides are going to be missing key players for this one. But again, on paper, you have to fancy Real Madrid to get the victory, but I'm going to err on the side of caution once again. And for the third time in this video, I'm only going to go for a 2-1 victory. I still think Lille are capable of getting a goal, especially with the Madrid team a little bit different in defence as well, especially, like I say, with the goalkeeper. But with the qualities that Real Madrid have up front against a makeshift Lille defence, I would still expect the Madrid side to win this one. That then brings us to Liverpool taking on Bologna. As we've already spoken about with Bologna, they drew 0-0 with Shakhtar in their opener at home. Liverpool against Italian opposition went to Milan and absolutely played AC Milan off the park. It finished 3-1. It could have been more. Realistically, this is only going to go one way. Liverpool should absolutely be comfortably winning this one, and I'm just going to go for 3-0 to Liverpool. The one thing I would say is that since that draw with Shakhtar, Bologna have remained unbeaten. They won their game after that against Monza, and then obviously, as we spoke about earlier, drew with Atalanta at the weekend. So they're not being beaten, but they're also not winning. There's arguments to say that they're not playing particularly great, but defensively they have been pretty solid. So 3-0 might be a bit disrespectful, but ultimately, I mean, Liverpool at home, Champions League, if they don't win this game, I would be absolutely stunned. So I am going for 3-0 to Liverpool. Second to last game sees RB Leipzig taking on Juventus. Leipzig, of course, losing to Atletico in their matchday 1 game 2-1. Juventus winning 3-1 against PSV. What is incredible for Juventus so far this season is that 93rd minute consolation goal for PSV is the only goal they've conceded all season. They have only conceded 1 goal all season. It was in the 93rd minute of match day 1 when they were 3-0 up against PSV Eindhoven. Also, outside of Leipzig's win at the weekend, they haven't scored in 2 of their last 3. So you got to look at those statistics and say, realistically, Juventus are going to take this game. I'm going to go for 2-0. Like I say, Juventus defensively have been fantastic. They're scoring goals. Leipzig have been struggling, albeit, like I just said, they won 4-0 at the weekend. But their 2 previous Bundesliga games before that were 0-0, and they lost to Atletico Madrid in between. So I'm going to go for Juventus. Leipzig at home can be very good on their day. Maybe they could sneak a goal, but the way Juventus have played, I don't see it happening. And then finally, as is the case with the Champions League, it's why we love this new Champions League format, we get a match between 2 champions. It is the Austrian champions of Sturm Graz taking on the Belgian champions of Club Brugge. Now, it's going to be an interesting one again here because both of these sides were defeated on match day 1. Sturm Graz went down 2-1 to Stad and did lose Lavallee through suspension through a red card in the last minute of that game. Club Brugge were absolutely taken apart at home by Borussia Dortmund in that second half. And like I say, it's a tough one. Both sides are probably going to fancy their chances going into this one because they're going to see this as their opportunity to get wins against people on their same sort of status level, knowing that the tougher games are there around them. So how each side approaches this game makes it a little bit more interesting. For me, especially at home, I would have to say the Austrians should be considered the favourites for this one. And that is the way I'm going to go for it. I'm going to go for 2-1 once again, which means I've actually gone for no draws on day 2 of match day 2. I'm sure there probably will be at least one, but like I said, I've erred on the side of caution on 5 of those fixtures there. So I do think there are definite possibilities for some potential slip-ups and upsets in this particular day. But that's just how I see it. I've gone for 9 victories, and that is just the way that it has to be. As always, let me know all your thoughts down in the comments section below. Thank you very much for watching and listening. As always, I'll be back, like I said, same time tomorrow morning for all 18 Europa Conference League predictions, and then Thursday for all 18 Europa League predictions. I will see you there.